Hey, this is Russ. Yeah, I am not on the road, as you can see. Yeah, we're stuck inside. It's snowing outside. Yeah, the Chicago area, we had snow. Our first snow happened yesterday, and it's snowing again today. So the snow is sticking to the grass, but not really to the roads. And of course, the roads are just wet. And, the snow is coming down. It's kind of wet snow. So yeah, I'm stuck inside. But I figured today would be a good day to talk about some things that we haven't talked about too much. Um, well, recently we haven't talked about it too much. So I figured I'd do that because we got a lot of new subscribers that have come on board. They may not know the history of the Rice is Right channel, and so I figured I'd give you a little background on that. So, and a lot of questions came up too as after the 360-degree video came out. So we'll talk a little bit about that and why that relates to all the stuff we're talking about now. Okay. So let me start off by saying first, when the Russ is Right channel first started out, it had no real direction. And then I ended up with a knee replacement, total knee replacement on my left knee. And next thing you knew, the Russ is Right channel turned into a knee replacement channel. So if you go back and search through the playlists on my channel, you'll see that there's knee-related videos. There's, I don't know, like 250 or so of those, okay? Yeah, for a couple years, all I did was talk about my knee because it took me that long to get my knee back into shape, all right? So I ended up doing 80 physical therapy sessions for my knee. And each one of those therapy sessions, I was screaming in pain because they're trying to get my knee to bend and it wouldn't bend, all right? So a company called Jazz, Joint Active Systems, gave me back a device to help me with my knee after the pandemic started happening and I couldn't go to physical therapy. They contacted me and asked me how I was doing, and I told them not so good. And so they sent the unit back to me at no charge to help me get back into shape. And with their help, and of course with all the physical therapy help from the therapist when I was going there, I finally got my knee to start bending and my extension was good. And so I was starting to get back to normal. It took almost 2 years to do that, okay? Most people finish off their knee journeys between 3 to 6 months. Mine took 2 years. So yeah, that's how the Russ is Right channel started. But then during that time, I was thinking, and part of our physical therapy things is to ride a stationary bike. Well, I couldn't do that too well either. I couldn't even do a full rotation, not even one rotation. I remember that. And so as my knee was getting better, I started thinking, and I said, I have this recumbent bike. Let me show you that at home, which is supposed to help me, keep going. And well, we bought that really to help lose some weight, but it was a good thing it was there because it turned out that I could use that a little bit for my knee replacement as well. And so I talked to my wife and I says, my knee is getting better. I says, I'd like to buy an e-bike so I can get back out and ride my bike because I've always liked bikes. I just couldn't do it because my knees were bad for so long. And she says, well, you have a bike. You have a mountain bike sitting in the basement right now. You haven't used it in so many years. Yeah, that bike actually still looks brand new. I think that thing is, how old is that bike? Close to 30 years now? I don't know. It could be 25, 30 years old. It's pretty old, but it looks brand new because I really had never used it. I bought it, I used it a little bit, and then the knees started hurting, and I stopped. So she says, you got a bike? I says, well, I can't really ride that bike. And she says, well, why not? I says, well, if I rode that bike somewhere, I might not have the strength to ride back. I'd be stuck, okay? So I guess after she thought a little bit more about it, she agreed. She says, okay, you can go buy an e-bike. So I bought the Rad Rover 5. Now, within the first year, I rode 2,600 plus miles in 1 year. That's pretty good for a guy who had a knee replacement that had so much problems, right? But it didn't go without some issues too. When I first got the bike, and I made a video like 2 months later, it was about things that senior riders should consider, right? A lot of you guys came to the Russ is Right channel because you saw that video. Well, that was done about 2 months after I bought the bike, and I started learning a lot of things about the e-bike and things that you should consider before getting an e-bike. So I made that video, and I don't know, we have over 750,000 views on that bike video, something like that. It's quite a bit. And so a lot of you guys came because of that. Well, I thank you so much for doing that. So so what I want to tell you is that, when I first got the bike, I fell a couple of times, and I still get comments today from people who see that video who say you should buy an e-trike Yeah, you shouldn't be riding a bike. Maybe the bike is, the high step is not good for you. Maybe you need a step through bike. No, I didn't fall because of those things, okay? Let me make it real clear to everybody here. I fell because of my lack of strength in my left leg and left knee from the knee replacement. Because the first couple times I took the bike out, I went on the 3-mile path that we typically do. And I stopped, the first fall is I stopped at an intersection, crossing the intersection, and the bike was leaning to the left. Well, that's where the knee replacement is, is on the left leg, left knee. And so I didn't have the strength to hold myself and the bike up because the bike is so heavy. And so with the lack of leg strength, I fell down. Yeah, right at the intersection of a major street, okay? Nobody came out and helped me, by the way. I had to crawl out of that myself, crawling on my hands and knees on a knee replacement. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And then the second time I fell, it was because I was making a U-turn, okay? And again, leaning towards the left, not having the leg strength, I put my leg down, and of course, down I went again, okay? That's why I don't do U-turns, in case you've always wondered why Russ doesn't do U-turns. It's because of that, okay? And then third time I fell was a purposely made fall, okay? My shoelace on my right leg, my right shoe got caught in the pedals, okay? It kind of started wrapping around it, so I couldn't get my foot off the pedal. Now, typically, if that happens, just lean to the other side, put your leg down, and then untangle it, right? Well, if my right shoe got tangled and it's the left leg that had the knee replacement, if I put the left leg down, guess what would probably end up happening? Yeah, I'd probably fall again, and I don't want to fall on the replaced knee again. So I purposely made the decision I am going to purposely fall on the right side to avoid falling on the left side, okay? So that's how I took my third fall. I haven't fallen since those times, and that was the first year that I had the bike. I'm pretty good now. My leg is pretty decent. The knee is pretty strong. I don't walk perfectly, but I do pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, in that short time, what is it now? 2 years now we've gone through. The Russ's Ride channel has turned into an e-bike channel, right? So I would have never thought that a lot of these things would have turned the way it did, in the sense that the channel is now known as an e-bike channel. Many e-bike manufacturers have sent me bikes to review. So I have a ton of bikes and I'm riding as much as I can. So why don't I ride during the winters? People have asked me that. It's because of the knee. I don't want to gamble the knee. Now, chances are I probably won't fall, but there's always a chance that I will. And I won't risk all the things that I did to my knee to rehab it to take a gamble of riding it in the winter. That's why I don't do it, okay? Now, others might want to do it. That's perfectly fine for them, but I took a look at the cost of that knee replacement. It's over $73,000, okay? Of course, we don't pay it. The insurance company pays all that stuff. And, with all the rehab work I had to do with it and all the pain I went through with it, I don't gamble that knee, okay? This is why you see that I usually won't ride on trails either. I won't ride on gravel. I won't ride on anything like that. I usually only ride on pavement, and that's only because I feel more secure on the pavement. I don't take the gamble. And of course, as we get older too, you don't really want to gamble certain things. So that's why I don't do it. Yeah. So now, if you're able to do it, feel free to do it. Okay. But yeah, I won't do it. And a lot of people have said, go out and try it. Yeah. No, I'm not going to do it. Okay, so that's the reason why. Now, another thing that came up too is I mentioned on the last video that losing weight was difficult, and as I weigh like 255 pounds, and so a lot of people make comments about the weight issue. So yeah, it's hard to lose weight. I know some of you have been able to do it. Some of you have been able to do it with your e-bikes, and some say, well, if you pedaled more, you'd be able to lose the weight. Yeah, I never bought the e-bike to lose weight. I bought it to rehab my knee, okay? My whole purpose of the bike was to keep the knee moving, not to strain the knee to the point where I'm working out hard with it. I can't really do that well, okay? So my purpose is just keep it moving. You know, if I don't lose weight with the e-bike, I'm okay with that, all right? I need to lose the weight, but that wasn't the purpose of the e-bike for me. The purpose for my e-bike was to keep my knees moving, keep my legs moving, keep the joints moving, okay? That's why I bought the e-bike. Now, if I do lose some weight because of it, that's an added benefit, but that wasn't the main purpose, okay? Some have also mentioned do a low-carb diet. Yeah, I've done that. I've lost 50 pounds, gained it all back, lose another 50 pounds, gain it all back. It's a back and forth cycle with me. Now, I have noticed since the weather's not doing so well lately, I have been getting a little bit lazy, all right? Because I can't get outside. I can't be active. So I know that I need to start again, to start working on the weight loss, start getting some activities, doing some things indoors if I'm not going outdoors, and then keep that going. So yeah, maybe I need to get back on that recumbent bike. But all these other bikes are in my way. I'm looking to the side here because I've got e-bikes sitting next to me. I've got literally, how many bikes have I got here? I don't know, 6 or 7 in this room, something like that. And like another 4 more in the garage, another one in the dining room right now. I mean, they're all over the place. And the recumbent bike, the exercise bike, is kind of stuck in the corner. I can't even get to it. I can't even crawl over the top of these bikes to get on that bike to try. So yeah, I got to work something out. Any type of thing that I need to work on a bike, I have to move a whole bunch of bikes out of the way to get to the other bike. So it's getting a little out of control. Now, people have mentioned to me, they said, stop taking in all these bikes, just do bike rides. Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. I'm going to still take in bikes, but as I mentioned before, I'm going to be very picky on what I take in now. So if I do a review of a bike, one comes in, another's got to go out, right? So the bikes that I have right now that I've kept, I like them all. I really do. I picked these specifically to review because I saw that there was benefits to them, and so I like to keep them. I like to ride them, and based on the different situations, I will pick the right bike for me for that day and go out with that bike. But if I do a review now of another bike, one bike will have to go to have another bike come in. I just don't have any more physical space to put it in unless I'm going to overflow into the living room and the family rooms. And even though I have a full basement downstairs, I'm not able to push those bikes up and down the stairs. So they can't go down in the basement. So yeah, it's taking over our house. So I'm just lucky my wife allows me to do what I'm doing right now. All right. Luckily, she seems to have gotten some interest in the e-bikes because she has her own e-bike, and I let her use the Magicycle Ocelot Pro when we're riding together now. So I said, if we're not having to use the folding bikes, you can just ride the Ocelot Pro, and she's really liked riding this bike. So I essentially see that now as her bike, although I will ride it every now and then because she only rides usually on the weekends. Like if we're going to go grocery shopping or something like that, she'll ride that bike. But so it doesn't get much riding time. So I will use it, but it's technically her bike to use. Okay. So yeah, so as one bike comes in, another one has to go out, I think, at this point. Okay, so one last thing I wanted to kind of cover today, and then I'll let you guys go. I'm going to keep these videos fairly short. They're not going to be like half hour or even 1 hour long videos during the winter. They'll probably be, let's say 15-minute type videos, okay? It's just little things that kind of keep you interested in e-bikes while you're maybe waiting to get outside as well. Yeah, like I said, clean up your bikes if you haven't done that already. Make sure your batteries are at about the 70% levels or something like that. And then you might want to do some modifications, do some upgrades, do that kind of stuff while you're waiting. Now, one thing I have not done yet, and I know I need to do it soon, is I promised to do a video on how to modify certain things within the Ocelot Pro's menu system in the display, right? I haven't done that video yet, but I will do that very shortly. But it is really the same thing that you do on the Magicycle Cruiser. So if you watch the second Magicycle Cruiser review, it does cover that. But I'll recover it again specifically for the Ocelot Pro, and we'll just call it for the Ocelot Pro and for the Magicycle Cruiser Pro, okay? Because it's the same exact display and same way of doing it. So that's coming soon. Keep an eye open for that. I know it's towards the end of the season now, but I did promise to do it. I haven't done it, so I'm going to do it. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Keep watching. New stuff coming ahead. Talk to you guys next time.